Tell him I got the juice.
Just like I don't need to set myself on fire to know I'm going to burn, I don't need to enter a hoe phase to know it's self destructive.
Hey,
Toxic
hey,
feminism.
hey, hey, hey. You talking that talk right now. You talking that talk right now. I love that. Keep it going. I just want to keep it going.
Has taught young, beautiful, intelligent women that in order to be liberated, they need to be equal to a dusty boy. So let me
Oh,
break it down. All the hoe phase does is transfer all the power and the dynamics from the women over to the men. The primary perk for a man in a relationship is sex. The hoe phase allows him to access sex without investing time or money. He can then go on to meet the love of his life, who will be nothing like the hoes he was sleeping with. Primary perks for women are protection and investment. She gets neither of those in the hoe phase. This dynamic leaves men with inflated egos and women with low self worth.
hey.
So stop teaching women to be equal, teach them to be expensive.
I think she actually has a point. The hoe phase is not necessary because all you're doing in the process is finding a reason to devalue yourself in order to get value. If I need to be seen in the eyes of men as something attractive, desired, I need to put myself out there. And a lot of times putting yourself out there, we kind of know what that can be code for. And here's the thing about the hoe phase that I think so many people don't recognize, what men and women, because it's not just women who do this. Please don't get it twisted. Women don't just do this. Men do this too. What happens is that you think that you're going to quote unquote get it all out of your system. Go have fun. And here's the problem with that. You're actually programming your body to actually need such an achievable high to reach a place of satisfaction, which actually isn't just satisfaction. It's not satisfaction at all. It's temporal pleasure. It's fleeting. It's hitting that spike of dopamine and then you fall. And in order for you to at least get a glimpse of that satisfaction, you have to continuously hit that dopamine spike. And then after a while, that becomes regular. And so you begin to get more daring. You begin to step into places that are even more riskier. And then in order to get that satisfaction in, or again, that fleeting desire filled. And so for a while now, I've gone against the idea of needing a hoe phase, or that a hoe phase is necessary. But I also want you guys to consider this too, man, because we're people who desire to build healthy, happy, whole relationships. That it's not that many people may even desire to do that off rip. And I think there's got to be room to consider that, because there are some people who have made that decision because of the pain and hurt. Pain has a way of driving us to some things. And if we aren't careful in delegating that pain, we will end up making decisions temporarily that we'll regret long term. A hoe phase is one of those things that can easily become that, because there's so much that we're putting ourselves at risk of. Because let's be honest, if we're in such a great pain, a severe breakup, a long-term relationship that you envision going to marriage, all of a sudden comes crashing down, that seems very tempting. Like, can we just keep it a buck for a second? Like, that seems very tempting to do. Very relatable thoughts that begin to pass through our minds, that men and women are dogs, all men and women ain't ish, and I'm about to go get mine, and I will do anything than feel what I'm feeling right now, even if that means going to get felt on and not allowing that person to be let in. Does it make it right? No. But this is something that we have to bring understanding to in order to navigate through it properly. And I think how we navigate through such a phase properly, one, of course, don't engage in it, but two, recognize the purpose. You got to step back and ask yourself, okay, why do I feel the need to enter into such a space in my life? And I think when I ask myself that, I think a lot of the obvious answers will begin to pop up. Well, I'm hurting. I'm broken. I can't believe that ninja said all those things and left me. I can't believe she said all these things and still didn't want to come through with me. I can't believe that she just treated me like dirt, treated me like trash. And now I'm left with all these crushing thoughts of thinking and wondering if I'm good enough and if I'll ever be good enough. Your thoughts are valid, and we don't need to jump to such conclusions, or we're willing to put our bodies, our temples, our spiritual beings, our emotions, all these things at risk for just a moment of pleasure. Because I think that moment of pleasure will never catch up or outlast the pain that still waits for us on the other end that we have to deal with. Because truth is, we need healing. And truth is, we need a new shift in perspective on relationships and what it really means to honor one another, love one another, and love ourselves. And it starts with knowing what God says about us. Trust me when I tell you, you are not alone if these are some of the thoughts that you've had. You are not alone if you've entered into a hoe phase. You're not alone. Matter of fact, there's so many people, if we really look at the history of the nations and areas that the Bible comes through, you're not the first and you won't be the last who encountered such a space in life where you made a compromising decision based on some feelings that were hurt, damaged, and needing some rescuing up. Not the first and won't be the last who opened it up for everybody to have. But just as Jesus encounters the woman who was caught in adultery, is the same measure of grace and mercy that not only we ought to extend to people who are moving in such a space, it's the same measurement that Jesus offers to us in moments where we have made compromising decisions based on emotions that we were experiencing, based on emotional pain we were trying to avoid, or based on emotional pleasures that we were trying to fulfill. And we ended up using people as a means to fulfill it. A lot of times, some of those things can come with shame. A lot of those things can come with guilt, but God is forgiving. And there is a reset button when it comes to God and when it comes to our lives that allows us to move in a space of transformation where we can look back one day and say, that's who we were, but that's not who I am, because he did the transformative things in my heart and mind that allowed me to see what I was missing. And now I am no longer willing to give up what I've now gained in him. Life, freedom, understanding, these things that actually bring inward transformation and not just outward solvents. And I think the best place to start is truth. The best place to start is understanding. The best place to start is no further than Christ, because he's the original source of all things that is truth. And in the process, endure a healing space where we are allowing ourselves to feel our feelings, feel our emotions, be upset, be angry, be hurt, because God's not offended by those things, and grieve our way to a place where we can now say, I'm healed, I've recovered, and I'm able to come back to a place where I'm ready for a relationship again, not out of a place of loneliness, despair, pain, suffering, wanting to run from certain emotions and feelings, but because I understand what's required of me here. And now I'm looking for the right people to be in my life that will journey with me to where God desires me to be. So I think there's some things to consider when it comes to these kinds of conversations. Yes, we can say that the hoe phase is degrading, you shouldn't do it, but it's also important to understand why people do what they do. And it's not to give them a pass, but it's to give them a place of understanding and say, man, I don't agree, but I understand how you're getting here. Somebody just being willing to be in this space to journey with you would change everything. As you teeter and as you're in a space where you're crushed and looking to run somewhere, you're in pain, you're running from something, you have no idea what you're running to. I just need you to pause for a second and ask yourself, why am I here? What am I doing? Why am I here? And as you answer this question in honesty, I think you're going to see some things that pop up. And now we have an opportunity to deal with the true emotions that take time instead of running from them, looking to be felt on, instead of actually feeling our feelings and dealing with it. So some thoughts to consider. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe, like this video, share with a friend who could benefit from hearing this reaction, and leave your comment below. What do you think about the hoe phase? Do you think it's legit? Do you think it's beneficial? Do you think it's whack? Have you participated in it? All those kinds of things. And I pray that there were some thoughts here that you could take back with you that are beneficial in some kind of way. And as always, until our next conversation, be easy and be breezy, my friend. Hey, peace.